Legislating in a presidential election year often doesn't amount to very much, especially when the person in the White House is a lame duck. But at least in 2016, the big kickoff will be earlier than at any time since the 1970s. The State of the Union address is set for Tuesday night, January 12th. This will be the 50th anniversary of the speech in its modern form, a nighttime TV extravaganza with as much ritual and ceremony as anything on Capitol Hill outside of an inauguration. Downtown traffic gets shut down for the motorcade as it moves from the White House to the Capitol. By the time the doors in the House chamber open, the room is packed to overflowing. The press corps above the rostrums, one guest for every member up in the gallery, and above the Republican cloakroom doors, along with the First Lady, the ordinary citizens whose stories the president will use to illustrate his speech. On the floor, the diplomatic corps, the Joint Chiefs, Supreme Court justices, senators, and House members, some of whom have camped out on the aisle all day just for a second of FaceTime with the president as he comes down that aisle. And then, the ritualized ovations. Totally bipartisan applause at the start, mostly partisan whenever he talks about substance. Afterward comes the rush into Statuary Hall, turned into a TV studio for the night, where members can offer their reactions that are mostly sound bites, concocted before the president has even said a word. Like so much in Washington, this whole deal used to be so much smaller and simpler. The Constitution, after all, only mandates that the president, quote, shall from time to time give Congress information on the State of the Union and recommend such measures as he shall judge necessary and expedient. For more than a century, that got accomplished with a thick report. Woodrow Wilson decided it was a smart idea to use the State of the Union to sell his agenda to Congress in person, and a joint session once a year to hear from the president has been the default setting ever since 1913. The speech has been on the radio since Calvin Coolidge in 1923 and on television since Harry Truman in 1947. Lyndon Johnson moved to primetime in 1965, and broadcasts on high-definition TV and webcasts started under George W. Bush. Now the audience may have maxed out. Nielsen ratings show a steady drop in Barack Obama's viewership. It's down 40% from his first speech to Congress to the last time, which was the smallest for any president in 15 years. Obama's unlikely to reverse the trend this time. The public is increasingly focused on the race to be the next president, and there are only a couple of areas where he has a chance to get a big win from the GOP Congress. Instead of a policy laundry list, look for something more thematic as Obama starts trying to shape his legacy. Although it's his first time with Paul Ryan looking over his shoulder from the speaker's chair, it will very likely be Obama's final time at that podium.